let's head to places really quick. I want to have a look around at some of this shit. No dungeons yet if I can't survive the plains. I've only found one though, right?
There's town ruins on that next page. Yeah, there's just the desert cave. That's the first level.
Okay. Let's see.
And that's also where your father and brother are being held prisoner.
Right, yeah. Where's boat take me? I forget about
It
this.
just takes you out to the middle of the lake.
Okay.
Want to go?
Yeah, sure. Let's give it a shot.
You're fighting a shark girl.
Okay. Level 4. Okay. Well, we can try attacking her if she might be fairly easy to kill with physical attacks.
All right.
Might
40.
build some lust during the fight as well. So.
Oh, you got a crit. 103.
Yeah.
She's done it. Yeah. Okay, you got her.
Yeah.
All right. You have a shark tooth. Want to get rid of it, or use it, or abandon it, or abandon something else?
Well, let's see. Let's get rid of the. See if you can get rid of the imp food and grab that and just keep it in your inventory. I'm just curious to see what it does or what it.
It's I'll just tell you, it's a shark transformation item. Usually.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
Okay. It was where I think either Original Mullet or Mullet Junior got that bite attack that you like so much.
Yeah. That's
you want to sell stuff?
Yeah. Let's empty out the inventory.
All right. Okay, you got 18 gems for selling shit.
Cool. All right.
Anything you want to do in town or go back?
Tower. Fuck's the tower about?
This is that library.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's head back and get some exploring done. At the very least, I'd like to level, see what kind of. Or so maybe I need to just be focusing on shit that I can kill for now. But that's funny. Anyway, let's try to go to the lake, see what we can get into there.
Oh, you find a vial of equinum.
Okay. Interesting. The fuck is that?
This is a long flared vial with a small label that reads equinum. It is likely this potion is tied to horses in some way.
Okay. Yeah, I won't be fucking with that. Yeah, okay. It summons a horse from the plains to come fuck me in the ass?
No, I mean, like, here's the thing. This game is actually, I don't know, it's a very different experience if you're not a furry, you know? Because, you know, somewhere out there's a player who's like, oh shit, I need to drink like a gallon of this stuff and become a horse.
Right. Definitely.
I mean, that's kind of the dualistic appeal of the game. Is some people trying to preserve their humanity versus other people who are just quick to abandon it.
Right. Okay, let's try the lake another time, a couple times until we get into some kind of conflict.
You want the lake or to take the boat out onto the lake? Because the lake explorer is walking along the shore, and then the boat goes out into the center of the.
Okay, yeah, let's ride that boat a bit. See how that turns out. I got a level 4 the first time. We'll see what I can get.
All right, you reach the dock without any incident and board the small rowboat. The water is calm and placid, perfect for rowing. Like a hidden emerald jewel, a small island appears in the distance. You wager that you're somewhere near the center of this lake. So there's a giant being. It says, "You seem so surprised to see me, champion. I suppose that is inevitable. Your origin is not of Marith, our land, and few save for the demons remember me," says the tree. Okay, it's a talking tree. You take a step back, amazed to find such a creature, apparently uncorrupted. Feeling a bit confused, you introduce yourself and ask her who she is. Me, she asks, "I am the life goddess Mare. I am Marith, for my roots touch every part of it, or I was before they came." The demons, she nods and continues, "The demons were once a tribe of magic-blessed humans living in the mountains. They had everything they could ever want, peace, love, and the power to change reality. But they grew dissatisfied, as men often do, and craved more. They began using their magics to alter their bodies, seeking greater pleasure than ever before. In time, they became obsessed with it. I let them be, believing their folly to be limited to their own village. I was wrong. While I focused on preventing famines and ensuring peace between the other villages, the humans twisted themselves into something else, something demonic. They gave up their souls, crystallizing it into a magical energy source. Of course, they could not be satisfied with consuming the power of their own souls. They wanted more. They always wanted more. So she tells, okay, so she says, please, champion, you must help me. The demons have a factory at the foot of the mountains. It produces much of the fluid they use to taint me. If you could find a way to shut it down, I, all of Marith, might stand a chance. Now go. There is nothing to be gained by your presence here. Return if you manage to close that vile place.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's try that again. See what other kind of shit I can get into. Now, you
got the same event.
Oh, okay.
Did what?
Did that unlock that a new place, or how did that go?
I think you still have to find it by searching the mountains.
Okay, got it. All right.
You want to do that? It doesn't lock you into going into the dungeon even if you find the dungeon. I mean, it might unlock. I don't know if you can actually find it before you talk to her. Who knows?
Okay. Well, in any event, and already spoken to her, so sure, why not? Let's give it a whirl.
Mountains. Minotaur.
Okay. Level
right.
5. Shit. Let's fantasize since I'm so close. Maybe I can one-shot this prick.
Alright, so it also used a lust attack, but it's 61's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll use Arouse. Okay. Yeah, that took him all the way to phase 3, so yeah.
One more and he's done.
He's really vulnerable to this. Yeah, that's it. Who would have thought that the fucking satyr would be so resistant to that attack? I mean, somewhat. You figure at least one enemy would have to be resistant to it, otherwise
right.
Kill everything.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, what did I hit him with? At least 3-4 spells, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that was rough. And I don't know if that's indicative of the rest of the mobs on the plains at all, but they seem to be a bit more advanced as far as like tactics and that sort of shit, but resistance and all that, but whatever. Okay, yeah, we'll just leave this guy here.
I remember the original version of Renfield. All the enemies, like, there were no generic mobs. There were only NPC enemies, and everybody had randomized resistances. So no matter what ability you were using, like, there was always someone who would be immune to it. So you had to try different things.
Right.
Like the way it was set up, by fighting someone and beating them let you absorb their skills. So it was really kind of fun because every playthrough would be different.
Right.
Because you'd find a character, you'd kick their ass, and sometimes you get their ability, sometimes not. And it always started with everybody kicking the shit out of you. Because
I've always
what's that?
I've always liked that mechanic in any game.
Stealing abilities.
We can gather them like the way they did with it was Final Fantasy VII. There was a materia where you could learn enemy abilities, and fucking even like in Mega Man, that was one of the main things that you got. You defeat a boss and you get some attribute that they had or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was really fucking cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd get anything from it's like that, except like there was no ordinary magic. Usually those systems, like they'll have that'll just be one class or one character or a materia, like and that's been it's typically referred to as blue magic, I think, these days. But that's been a constant going way back. I think even Final Fantasy III had a class that could do something like that. I don't remember. The Final Fantasy V had the job system. I'm pretty sure there was at least one person who did something like that. But the original prototype Renfield, it didn't have any normal abilities. You started out with nothing but your fists, and then you just got your shit kicked out of you, and people would spam all kinds of weird magic and techniques, and then finally, you get lucky against one opponent, and then you gain one ability, and then you start to you just like really rapidly gain in power. So it was interesting. I need to revamp the spells. Nobody's been able to find out how to use magic so far in Renfield. They're like, oh, there's no magic in this game. It's like, oh, God, I'll just put it for sale at the shop there. Now you can't say you can't find it. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Have you seen Dean Takahashi playing Cuphead?
Cuphead. What the fuck is that?
It's you're going to be hearing more about it. There was this guy. He's a tech writer who says, "Oh, I'm not I'm not a game journalist or reviewer," right? To get off the hook for the fact that he doesn't know anything about games, even though he writes about them and plays them. And he has this video that it's like 26 minutes of him just failing spectacularly at playing this indie game that's coming up. It's Cuphead's. It's like, do you know the Metal Slug games?
No.
Oh,
No, I do not.
well, then I guess the best I could compare it to is a run and gun like Contra or something, right?
Okay.
Right. It's like Contra if Contra was done with graphics like the very early Disney movies like Steamboat Willie.
Okay.
So it has that kind of very early Disney or very early Warner Brothers style, piano music and graphics, and and you go around and you're a guy with a cup for a head and you shoot lasers and you jump around and shit. Unless you're Dean Takahashi, in which case you just run up against a giant pillar because you don't know how to get up. And they actually there's this tutorial level, and it takes him an eternity to get up on this platform because you're like it has the instructions written on the wall, and he still just can't figure it out.
Right.
Like you're supposed to jump on a low platform, jump up, and then use this dash to get over on a high pillar. And it is one of the greatest things on the internet. Everybody is dogpiling on him. All these, other journalists are defending him and blaming Gamergate, and all. It's great. It's just one of those great. It's one of the great moments in internet.
Dear God. Oh fuck, man.
And everybody's trying to rationalize it. It's like it's not clear, and it couldn't be more clear.
What are the what are the opponents of Gamergate? Like, what is it they think is happening to them? like I can't understand like the people that are like Vietnamese, however you say that fucking word because I'm half asleep, but like they're really opposed to the movement. What do they think it is? Like that's the part I care. Like, why is there such like vitriol for it, such hatred and all that shit on I guess the other side of it? I understand what gamer gators are saying their interests are, right?
Yeah.
I get that part.
Well, I mean, whenever the anti-GG publish an article, it's always it just describes them as a hate movement, right? That just hates women for no reason. Oh, and they're racist too, and they're all Trump supporters, and they're all
racist.
Yeah,
racist.
Just throw that in there too. Transphobic. Right. What else can we throw? But I mean, it's
so it's like, a sexism thing generally. Is what
it's playing the identity politics card. When you're defending your friends, because basically these game journalists, they all hang out with each other, they all know each other, right? And they'll defend each other even when they know the other person's wrong, because we're still back in middle school, right? We're all back in
everywhere our entire life.
So the thing is, someone says something that is demonstrably wrong, they get criticized for it, and then it's like, okay, well, this is just a misogynist conspiracy, even though Dean Takahashi is a man. It's just the same people, just haters for no reason, and it's so stupid. I mean, there's always people who behave badly when you have two or more major groups arguing online, but the idea that, well, it was formed just because hating women gives them such pleasure, that's pretty far-fetched.
Yeah, and of course you have like the third party don't give a fuck trolls who just have a fucking field day with it, and those people are my favorite people just because like they know exactly what's going to happen. It must be the easiest job in the world to be like a third party troll during like a major conflict of like just two opposing political positions, because like you can guarantee what the reaction is going to be. One side's going to be damaged from your behavior. Like you're going to like pose as being on their side. You're going to ruin their reputation, and the other side's going to freak out and like just completely fucking label whatever the movement or group is based upon its worst actors, which in this case aren't even one of its actors. It's all kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
And it's just
well, I mean, back in the day when there's religious like the creationists or other conservative Christians versus atheists on YouTube and blog TV. It was so easy to just go from one. I mean, because you remember how me and my friends were. You know, we were horrible trolls. I mean, not like pointless, vicious. We didn't send death threats to people or shit like that, but
Right.
just annoying the hell out of people with a bunch of silly, obviously wrong arguments. Just making deliberate spelling errors and shit. And
Right.
you go into a Christian chat and you ruffle their feathers by saying God don't real, and then you go into an atheist chat and you're like, you're gonna pay, you sinners, and then they just everybody. It's so easy. Yeah, it
Yeah,
is. I mean, it's just because
definitely.
you know exactly what buttons to push, especially the people on your own fucking side.
Oh yeah, because I mean, you know what gets under their skin the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That shit is funny as fuck. Like you have to troll your own sort of community every once in a while, just for
I'd say
just to.
if because you see a lot of people who don't have any self-awareness at all, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
it's like, okay, here's a little drill for people. It's like because you have people going back, you're closed-minded. No, you're closed-minded. That's if they'll even talk to you these days, not just immediately block you. But here's the
Right.
thing. Here's a test to see. It's a self-awareness test. Find some forum or some kind of real-time chat. Try to troll your own side. Try to find the people whose position you mostly agree with and see if you can pretend to be the other side and just annoy the fuck out of your own people, right? If you
Oh
can't
yeah.
do it, it means that you're just too biased.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Dude, I've done a version of that where I didn't necessarily troll, but I would just literally play the best devil's advocate I could. And that is fucking interesting because I've come to find out I'm pretty good at that shit. Like I can argue things that I absolutely think are dumb as shit, and I can argue them well. You know.
What's great is when you're trolling atheists is you go in there and you make all these deliberate spelling errors and logical fallacies and you just try to act like the most gigantic idiot in the world, but then they'll slip up and make an argument that really is wrong, and then you can then be correct, and then they've just gotten owned by an idiot.
Right. Yeah, and if you talk to anybody long enough, they'll fuck up. That's the other part of it. Eventually, they're going to say something that you can poke holes in, and you find and it's interesting.
Do you know?
It's definitely an interesting exercise to argue something you do not think at all.
I don't know if anyone watching this knows a YouTube user called Contrapoints.
Oh God, damn!
I mean, but here's the thing: Sarah Hahn and I knew this person going way back.
Yeah.
Through like several different transformative periods, and we knew them just as Nick, short for Nicotine 2, which was this old account. And he seemed, I don't know, I would never have thought from years ago that we would be where we are now in terms of everything about.
He seemed to apply the smallest bit of scrutiny to absurd ideas.
Yeah.
Even that's which now he cannot do because he's found another religion essentially, and it's sad to watch. It's fucking sad to watch.
He is really the epitome of someone who has like a vocabulary and like a base level intellect where he could do great things, but he's so unaware. He has zero self-awareness whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And he's I mean, where do you see?
There's
so much to unpack.
I don't know if you know who Dr. Random Cam is or watch his videos at all. Okay, well, he did a reply to Contrapoints. And there's a segment in his video on the alt-right where he says something to the tune of, pretty close, I am not a racist is exactly what a racist would say.
Yeah.
And Doc looks at the camera and goes, would you say, Contrapoints, that you are not a racist?
Yeah.
You know, and it's
he did the same thing with fascism. He said, saying I'm not a fascist is exactly the sort of thing a fascist would say. I'm like, no, actually, there's the fascists who. And
the trouble with that is that's also what a person who's not a fascist would say.
Yeah.
So it's entirely up to your perception at this point.
Well, but Sarah Hahn, he studied philosophy in college.
Fantastic. It didn't fucking help.
And by the way, if there's anyone who's is into this kind of thing, if I refer, from what I understand, Contra now wants to be she and they. If I
Yeah.
say he out of habit, it's because for years we knew this person as a
Right.
self-identified. It's not me saying,
Yeah,
lol, transgenderism, lol. It's not
right.
that
Well,
at all. I'm not
as a
dead naming
general
so.
rule,